America is a dream. Essentially, a dream as yet unfulfilled. It is a dream of a land where men of all races, of all nationalities, of all creeds can live together as brothers. This is Martin Luther King writing, preaching, speaking, 1965. The substance of the dream, he says, the substance of the dream is expressed in these sublime words, lifted to cosmic proportions. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. This is the dream. This is the dream. And ever since the founding fathers of our nation dreamed this noble dream, America has been tragically divided against itself. On the one hand, we have profoundly professed the principles of democracy, and on the other hand, we have sadly practiced the very antithesis of these principles. This is one of the stories, one of the true stories we can tell about America and this nation, our failure, persistent generation on generation, to live up to the beauty of that dream. John Winthrop, governor in the Massachusetts Bay Colony 400 years ago, called on his citizens in heartfelt compassion. He calls to them, he says, make each other's conditions your own. He told them, rejoice together, mourn together, labor and suffer together. Never forget that you are members of the same body. And John Winthrop, governor in Massachusetts Bay Colony 400 years ago, enslaved human beings, owned people, sold them to die, Native Americans in the West Indies. This is a true story about who we are and where we've come from. And we can tell that on and on through 4 centuries. Make America great again? For who? When? But the failure, the persistent failure, present from the beginning, the failure generation after generation, the failure of America to live up to that dream, doesn't tarnish the dream or dim the hope of it. It is as of yet unfulfilled, said Dr. King. Our aspirations to opportunity, to freedom, to equality are no less real, no less beautiful, no less critically important, and lay no less of a claim upon us for our inability to fully live up to them. We are not, nor have we ever been, wholly a land of liberty, opportunity, and equality. But that is the destination to which we are bound. We begin to make our way toward that dream by facing reality. The night after the election in 2016, we opened up First Unitarian to the community. We gathered, opened the doors to sing, to pray, just to be together. Folks who needed to, and people wrote down their hopes and their fears and brought them forward to the front of this great Gothic sanctuary, mingling those slim slips of their lives together in one great common bowl. And I saved them, I read them, I returned to them in the years since. I fear being the target of anger and hate, being discriminated against legally. I fear destruction of our natural resources. I fear hate speech will become normalized, bigotry more open. I fear that division will continue. I fear deportation of friends and clients. I fear inequality will grow. And as much as on that night, they named the fears of what would happen to all of us, so too these pieces of paper express a worry more tender, a fear of what could happen inside each of us. One said, "I fear losing my good heart." One said, "I fear that we will become a people who live in fear." One said, "I fear hating myself." Another, "I fear becoming exhausted." Folk singer Pete Seeger talks about seeing a lone Quaker protester out protesting the Vietnam War late one night, half a century ago, holding his sign on a corner, ignored by the people going by. And one of them asked him, "How are you going to change the world with that one sign on an empty corner?" And the young man paused, and he straightened, and he said with a steady voice, "I am here to make sure the world does not change me." And that's part of what we gather for. That's part of what we do when our worship ends and our service in the world begins again. We stay open, we stay willing, we stay hopeful, eyes wide to American reality, heart fixed on American dream. Our work always is to be a people called back home to ourselves again, listening for our deepest aspirations and our highest ideals, and letting them claim our lives. To be honest about those fears lets you be honest about your hopes, too. And as much as people came into that house 4 years ago carrying fears, they came too carrying hopes, hopes that you have tended to. This is what the community said, November 10th, 2016. I hope love will win. I hope we will organize. I hope for a safe world for every other. I hope for greater empathy. I hope I can be a force for good. I hope. I hope. I hope. The one that I've held closest, the one in my top desk drawer these 4 years, is a slip of paper written in a steady hand. It says this: I don't hope it, I know it. I don't hope it, I know it. We will look back and remember and fulfill the prayers and the work of those who went before us. Our task always is to come home to ourselves and then carry that private faith into the public square, to build the world that we dream of, to shape our private love into public justice, to remember and fulfill the prayer and the work of those who went before us, to build a tomorrow. We gather in community to grow our souls. We gather to help heal the world. 4 years ago, on the Sunday after the election, I told the gathered congregation the same thing I say to you now. I'm not here to tell you that everything is going to be okay. I am not here to comfort you. I rise today and stand before you to commission you for the work ahead, to commission you to go forth from this house, out to the world, from this house built of love, go into the world hand in hand to bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice and build tomorrow from the timbers of reality and grief and hope.
From this house to the world we will go hand in hand.
A House Called Tomorrow by Alberto Rios. You are not 15 or 12 or 17. You are 100 wild centuries and 15, bringing with you in every breath and in every step everyone who has come before you, all the yous that you have been, the mothers of your mother, the fathers of your father. If someone in your family tree was trouble, 100 were not. The bad do not win, not finally, no matter how loud they are. We simply would not be here if that were so. You are made, fundamentally, from the good. And with this knowledge, you never march alone. You are the breaking news of the century. You are the good who has come forward through it all, even if so many days feel otherwise. But think, when you as a child learned to speak, it's not that you didn't know words, it's that from the centuries you knew so many, and it's hard to choose the words that will be your own. From those centuries, we human beings bring with us the simple solutions and songs, the river bridges and star charts and song harmonies, all in service to a simple idea that we can make a house called tomorrow. What we bring finally into the new day every day is ourselves, and that's all we need to start. That's everything we require to keep going. Look back only for as long as you must. Then go forward into the history you will make. Be good, then better. Write books, cure disease, make us proud, make yourself proud. And those who came before you, when you hear thunder, hear it as their applause.
Built of love to the world.